crosses and sunlight, but like, what else?
He knows as much as he knows. I mean, there could be other things.
Right. He'll be like, so a stake through the heart, will that kill you? And he's like, I've never been staked through the heart. I would imagine it would suck.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, man, you know?
How's it going, everybody? I'm Brian Mitchell.
I'm Cassie King, and welcome to the Skybound Insider.
Back in April, we brought you all an episode with Donny Cates to commemorate the release of Redneck. We went to Seattle, we ate some barbecue, and just had a really swell time.
The time was so swell that we needed another catch-up with Donny once more. Not only has Redneck been flying off shelves, but the first arc of the story, Deep in the Heart, has wrapped, and Arc 2, The Eyes Upon You, will start on November 22nd with the release of issue number 7.
Here are my eyes upon you.
Oh my God.
So without further ado, here's Ian eating barbecue with Donny Cates.
Hey, what's going on, guys? We are back with Donny. Different city, different barbecue. But we're gonna catch up on Redneck. So last time we talked, issue 1 was about to come out. Redneck was about to start.
Yeah.
And now we're 6 issues in, end of the first arc. But before we do that, let's talk about this barbecue we're about to eat real quick.
So we got some cornbread, some chicken, we got some ribs, some barbecue sauce, some cornbread, some sausage, pork. Oh, look at that brisket, bro. It's so good. So I think we are ready to go.
All right, so while we're, getting ready to eat here, I love the book, man.
Thanks, man.
It's so damn good.
Thank you.
I have never seen vampires like this, and it is still continuing to surprise me.
Thank you.
Issue 3, we got a real good look at Grandpa,
Yeah.
which was amazing. But also, I think it's really interesting seeing Perry's kind of abilities and her powers and how different she is.
Yeah.
But her and Grandpa seem to have a cohesion. They seem to have some consistencies with what their powers are.
Yeah, Bartlett kind of says as much in the first issue that it's kind of the thing that I like about the series is that most vampire stories have like a really clear-cut set of rules as to what vampires can and cannot do. And they fluctuate from series to series, but within those series, they're pretty clear-cut. And it seemed to me that these vampires in particular wouldn't have any clue whatsoever what the rules are. How would they know? Right?
Yeah.
And so Bartlett kind of says as much in the first issue where he says like, yeah, Perry can do that. We don't know why. And like some vampires can do stuff.
They just
some
accept
vampires
it.
Can do other stuff. But absolutely, Perry is a character that is very near to my heart. She's probably my favorite character up there with Bartlett.
She's very, I'm not taking any shit. You guys stop treating me like a child.
Yeah.
I've seen stuff.
Well, that's kind of the interesting thing about her character is that she, in a lot of ways, is kind of the darkest character as far as her mindset. Because while the other vampires have kind of lived and learned the idea, the ways of, peace and staying away from humans and stuff like that, Perry was kind of born into a household where that was already there. Like her wild oats have never been sowed. So she still very much is kind of into bloodlust and kind of still wants to kill, At the same time, the interesting thing about Perry is that while, she's the baby of the family, she's probably 50. Yeah. And like after 50 years of being treated like a baby and like being told that she can't go and do these things and she can't, embrace these urges that are very natural for her species.
Yeah.
Right? That's going to come to a head. And at the end of issue 6, we kind of allude to this kind of thing when Perry kind of very casually says that the massive action that Bartlett took in the last issue was not entirely his choice. The implication being that Perry might have forced his hand a little bit. So those aren't things that I'm doing lightly. Perry, as much as this book is about the Bowman family in general, Perry specifically, this is kind of her journey. This is kind of her story.
I really like the moment where Landry he turns and Bartlett essentially welcomes him to the family, more or less.
After punching him in the mouth
After punching him in the mouth, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a rule that I like to have in the book, and I break every rule that I set out for myself, but I don't ever really want the Bowmans to really come full circle ever and like really realize the error of their ways. And there's not a scene that kind of exemplifies that more than that scene, because Bartlett runs out there to JV and is just like, we have to stop doing this. We have to, break this cycle of hate and all this stuff. And he's very profound that he's learned something. And then Perry says, hey, Landry's a vampire. And he just goes, well, fuck it then. And just punches him in the mouth, And that's so, that to me is so what the Bowmans are about, is that they have a hard time breaking that cycle. It's so ingrained in them, and it's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's gonna be tough for Landry to square this idea that somehow JV is now in charge of him, and like JV's killed like his grandfather. JV killed his grandma.
His whole crew too. Everyone.
That's gonna be really. That's not gonna just be glossed over. That's gonna
baggage.
be there's gonna be baggage. It's a small way of saying that. And what's really fun about Landry being on the crew now is that all of those questions that we were talking about like what the vampire rules are, Landry's gonna have a lot of those. And so I think one of my favorite scenes in the entire book, and not to give too much away, is a scene that happens in issue 7 in which Landry just sits down with Bartlett and asks him everything that perhaps the audience has been wanting to know, like crosses and sunlight, but like what else, And what's great about that again is that a lot of the answers that Bartlett has is, man, I don't fucking know.
He knows as much as he knows. I mean, there could be other things.
Right, and he'll be like, so a stake through the heart, will that kill you? And he's like, I've never been staked through the heart. I would imagine it would suck. But I don't know, man, The Eyes Upon You is brutal. It is hard. There's some parts that were really hard to write.
Okay.
Things, shockingly, don't go swimmingly.
If you're still reading the book, I think you're expecting that.
Well, the last line of the first arc is, Bartlett is talking about the old adage that they say it's always darkest before the dawn. And for us, that's not really true, because for us, when a new dawn breaks, things just get darker. Right? And that last line of the first arc of things just get darker is as much as a period on a sentence as it is a promise to the audience. If you thought the events of Deep in the Heart were brutal, it's just a warm-up.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
With the first trade of Redneck wrapping up, make sure to be on the lookout for more issues of Redneck. Donny also really loves barbecue. We're doing more videos with him going to eat barbecue in a bunch of different towns, so be on the lookout for more interviews with Donny.
Let us know in the comments what you guys think of Redneck's first 6 issues, where you think the story is heading. Did Grandpa really die? If not, where'd he go? Is Landry really one of the guys now? Like the video, give us a subscribe, go pick up Redneck if you haven't, and we will see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.